r/ask Reddit. What is something that everyone praises but is actually horrible? People who work instead of take care of themselves, mentally or physically. It's actually a huge problem in Japan. It's also a big problem in the medical field. My wife is a trauma surgeon and the rate of physician suicide is scary. I believe it's highest for surgeons and anesthesiologists, or at least it used to be. There are a lot of theories as to why this is such an issue, but my wife believes one major reason is that people are afraid to seek help for PTSD or stress resulting from the job. It's a job that highly values perfection and there is still a stigma about reaching out for help. Many people fear that they'll end up losing their jobs or will be looked at as incapable. So they just push down whatever they are feeling and continue to work because being there is the most important thing no matter how you are feeling. My wife has seen it happen a lot with residents as well. It's not healthy. A job is not more important than your mental and physical health. My wife has a great handle on everything now, but back when she struggled more I would tell her that we, myself and our kids, need her to be happy and healthy. We don't need her to be a surgeon. She needed to take care of herself first. Working all the time and not getting enough sleep. I'm in Thailand. We are in the middle of a 2-day celebration where they release thousands of floating lanterns in the sky. It's wonderfully beautiful and brings people together. But over the next couple of days the bare bones of these lanterns, wire, will end up polluting the countryside, local rivers and even end up in the stomachs of livestock. The only ones I've ever used were biodegradable. Hopefully that's the case here. Overly public marriage proposals. From proposals. People who boast that they have never taken a sick day off in X years, but it's not because they never get ill, but because they still come in when they are, likely spreading it through the office. One of my co-workers once proudly stated that he comes into work even if he's in a coma. To this day, I don't understand why someone would proudly say something like my job is more important than my health or my life, especially since he's an entry-level grunt, not a manager or executive or something. No one would care if he called in sick, but he thinks that without him, this entire company would collapse. Weirdly, when he's on vacation, nothing collapses, but he still checks in every day and monitors everyone else's work. Yes, even when he's on vacation. Being busy and stressed at work. Sometimes it felt as though this is seen as a sign of being successful, yet it is quite horrible. The funny thing is I work hard and do good at my job, but I also make a huge effort not to be stressed out and miserable. I try my best to be relaxed, cheerful, and upbeat, but because of this everyone seems to think I'm lazy, or they are just annoyed. Be miserable like us, damn it. Not sleeping, staying up late. IDK what middle school me was thinking. My problem is that I feel that work is such imposition on my life that I want to enjoy as much of my free time as possible and not just come home, waste some time, have dinner, sleep. So I try to stay up as late as I can even though I don't have energy to do much and just watch something or read or go out. Anything to try to make it feel like my part of the day. Of course I'm always tired and hate mornings, but I'd hate them anyway and I can't give this up. Giving people pets as a gift. It sounds like such a nice gesture, especially if that person just lost a pet, but you are just forcing this huge responsibility on someone and it could be something they didn't want at all. Oh, here's a bird. It's going to live 80 years and bond only with you. Celebrities. I want to preface by saying that I don't think it's completely horrible, but I don't agree with the degree to which American society holds its celebrities, whether it be movie, sports, or musical artists. In every outlet, the amount of focus on them is too much, and the amount of influence they have over people's viewpoints, while not necessarily having the credibility, is absurd. Just because they're famous, rich, and beautiful doesn't make them an authority on everything. The fact that a B-list celebrity like Jenny McCarthy had enough influence to help push forward the anti-vax movement dumbfounds me. The fact that the Kardashian family would be considered some of the strongest influences in the media today is ridiculous. I had a professor in college for animal behavior who spoke to our class one day about how unusual human behavior is. Most scientists would assume that those who educate, heal, or innovate would be the most idolized and revered in a society, much like in the past in ancient Greece. In modern culture though, we've grown to idolize those who entertain, like athletes or celebrities. He always wondered if that was a coincidence of our culture's development and if we were to restart the world, if we'd end up in the same place. Interesting thought. Kids doing hours of homework each night. Kids who are quiet and seen as more mature. I was always praised as being so well behaved but didn't develop people skills or the ability to speak for myself until much later because of it. Even now, at 23, I'm still playing catch up and learning to find my voice. Excessive alcohol consumption. Craft beers are a neat little hobby, and mom needs her wine to chill out. The pressure to drink is always there, in ads, social groups, etc. I usually try not to drink at all unless that's my plans for the whole evening. IDKY, but I can never do the casual 1-3 drinks. I mean, I could if I was going to a formal event or something like that. But when people just have beers regularly or order a few drinks at dinner or a nightcap, I could never get into drinking like that. Beats audio. Fun fact. Beats headphones are so cheap to produce that they make 2000% profit. Perfect attendance. At work or school. Please stay home if you're sick. At my wife's school district, last year, the student attendance was too low, so they opted not to give the teachers their yearly raise. They were still going to give the administrators a raise, of course. They all said that was ridiculous and did not take their raise, instead opting to have it given to the teachers in the form of a $500 bonus in December. The reason is because the state, Texas, in this case, requires a certain number of hours per student per school year, which is understandable. But teachers should not be held responsible because little Johnny was sick or his mother decided to keep him home. Black Friday shopping. Sure, the deals can be great, but with everybody running around screaming and shoving their ways in and out of outlet stores, not worth it. I'll go with saving the most money here by staying home. I saw a huge line outside Sephora today and security only letting people in as people left and using those clickers like a nightclub bouncer. The discount advertised was only 15%. Why would you bother? News. Celebrity news or any of that crap. Especially when it's retarded stuff like, oh my, insert picture of any famous woman in her bikini trying to have peace and privacy. Look at the curves. High school a million times over. I still talk to my high school friends. I wish I could go back. Best 4 years of my life. We, mom, had very different high school experiences. Expecting college students to go into massive debt or pay everything on their own without any help or support from their family, even if it means never coming home to visit their family. Sacrificing for your job. Maybe you're lucky, maybe your job fills you with joy and a sense of accomplishment, but for most people, a job is a price you pay to live comfortably. There's nothing noble or heroic about sacrificing personal relationships, happiness or free time for an employer. Retail. Last night I was working 5 PM to 2 AM. Everyone else in the store pretty much had the exact same shift. No one makes commission. I am the only one that took my 30 minutes break. The rest were too scared of what the manager would say or do because it was Black Friday, and all I said is the manager is going to let you take the 30-minute break because it's store policy. If they don't, they get in trouble. They might roll their eyes, but who gives a shit? Friends that encourage cheating or lying in a relationship. Yeah, girl, do you? You're not happy, so who cares if you sleep with other people? Maybe he'll be better for you and you won't have to be single when you break up with so and so. Yeah, this is common in circles where friendship is the most loyal thing, usually because everyone else has rejected them. I once witnessed a guy on the bus loudly calling his friends to make up this extensive plan with all these excuses so his girlfriend would never find out he cheated with Tulula. It was sad and kind of ridiculous because you could hear his friend on the other side praising him, but the cost of it was having to do a duck ton of social manipulation and lying and damaging relationships. Smoking marijuana, like, the act of doing it, not the marijuana itself. Yeah, you can be the stoner dude, but if your whole personality is the use of drugs, then you're not really that interesting. Ugh, this used to be me. In retrospect, it's so ducking cringe, and I really ducking hated not being stoned. Obviously a problem, and whenever anyone pointed it out, oh, it's just weed. When a father wins 50/50 physical custody of their children, should be automatically standard if both parents are capable mentally, emotionally, and financially. Physical custody should be determined in what's best for the children, not what's fair for the parents. And I say that as a father very likely to go through divorce in the next few months. If 50/50 physical works, fine. But in most cases it would be a logistical nightmare. Those videos of people giving to the homeless. They exploit a random person on the street for likes and comments and then have the cheek to guilt trip people who don't give money to a homeless person on the street. If you really want to help, donate to a local charity and don't show off. Instagram. I don't care what you ate at Luby's. Sex on the beach. You have this whole fantasy about how romantic and thrilling it would be. But it's not great. Getting sand in places you'd rather not have it in is not fun. I'll throw shower sex into this as well. Instead of being intimate and hot, it's usually awkward and stressful as you struggle not to lose your balance. But shower foreplay, now that's a different beast. Designer dogs. They're ducking mutts. You don't need to pay $2,500 for it. Go down to your local humane society and rescue something. You'll get the same thing already fixed, with full vaccinations, and likely microchipped. Being pregnant is hard. There are so many aches and pains. It changes your body permanently, and sometimes it can damn near, and sometimes does, kill you. Everyone portrays it as this beautiful, magical time where you are glowing and healthy and fabulous. But the truth is that it's a major drain on your body both physically and mentally. Expensive. Larger than necessary weddings receptions. Believe it or not, spending $50 plus per plate of food on 100 plus guests, many of which may not even be close family friends, is just entirely superfluous and unnecessary. Nobody is going to remember what the overpriced flower arrangements looked like or how the smoked tilapia tasted. It should be a joyous occasion to celebrate with those that matter most. Instead, it's often a bucket of stress and financial gymnastics. The best wedding I've ever been to was in my sister's backyard, followed by live music and a carne asada truck for catering food. I'll remember sitting around a fire pit shooting the shit with my uncles and cousins for years to come. Conversely, I'll also remember watching my parents stress over helping one of my other sisters front some of the expenses for her huge wedding over a 12-month span. Mark Wahlberg. Thought I'd mention it because a video with him is trending on YouTube at the moment. Yep, it was a long time ago. But I can't believe a guy who has committed such crimes can go have great career and be universally praised. In June 1986, Wahlberg and 3 friends chased after 3 African American children while yelling "Kill the nigger! Kill the nigger!" and throwing rocks at them. The next day, Wahlberg and others followed a group of schoolchildren taking a field trip on a beach, yelled racial epithets at them, threw rocks at them and summoned other white males who joined in the harassment. In April 1988, Wahlberg approached a middle-aged Vietnamese man named Tan Lam on the street and, using a large wooden stick, bashed him over the head until he was knocked unconscious while calling him a Vietnam ducking shit. That same day, Wahlberg also attacked a second Vietnamese man named Hoa Johnny Trin, punching him in the eye without provocation. According to court documents regarding these crimes, when Wahlberg was arrested later that night and returned to the scene of the first assault, he stated to police officers, "You don't have to let him identify me. I'll tell you now that's the mother ducker whose head I split open." Investigators also noted that Wahlberg made numerous unsolicited racial statements about gooks and slant-eyed gooks. In August 1992, a then 21-year-old Wahlberg fractured the jaw of a neighbor in an unprovoked attack. Court documents state that in 1992, Wahlberg, without provocation or cause, viciously and repeatedly kicked a man named Robert D. Crean in the face and jaw while another man named Derek McCall held Crean down on the ground. Volunteering in Africa. The children get attached to you and when you leave it creates psychological problems because they thought you cared about them. Whoa, never thought of it that way. Starbucks. Being so busy. Being busy has become glorified as some kind of virtue. It's ridiculous. I've been part of group conversations with other moms in my kids' classes all trying to outdo each other with all the busy, and then they look at me like, "So what are all your kids' activities and lessons and clubs and groups?" None. They are 4 and 6. They go to school. They play outside. They do their homework. We eat supper together at the table and they are in bed by 7 PM every night. On weekends we go out as a family to museums or nature parks. They often have birthday parties to attend. And that's as much busy as I'm willing to have in my life. I can't imagine spending hours driving to and participating in activities or lessons several evenings a week and getting them to bed at 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night. When they are much older, they'll be able to choose one activity, lesson or sport they'd like to do for 2 terms or the full school year. Being so busy is not a virtue. It doesn't make you a better person. You aren't winning. Instead, you're missing out on the quiet moments where your kids share things they're thinking about. You're depriving your kids of the fun of being bored but then coming up with something truly inventive to do. Conversely, people with simple schedules who refuse to overcommit themselves are not lazy or losers. Stop the glorification of busy. I love animals, and I love to support organizations that help animals. But PETA has done some shady shit. Also, I've heard a lot of stuff about the Salvation Army being very against the LGBT+ community and doing shady shit in that regard. Your natural talent when you've practiced really hard at something, especially as a kid. This encourages you to just think people are born with their skills, and discourages you from practicing things you're not good at. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.